Just talking about the growing problem of left-wing censorship and the latest victim of the woke mob being 007 himself, James Bond. Joining us now to discuss, former New York City Commissioner Giuliani and Bloomberg administrations, Bryan Anderson, host of Money Talk with Melanie, Collette, Florida businessman, lawyer, GOP strategist, Ford O'Connell. Ford, what do you think?
But still not stirred. To be totally honest with you, I'm in agreement. Censorship is really, it benefits no one. And censoring literature to bring it up to present times is really a waste of everyone's time. And I will say that there is probably no greater grift out there in terms of the woke mob than being a sensitivity expert, because we all know no such thing actually exists.
Yeah, Bryan Anderson, I understand that you may have had an encounter with Mr. Bond.
I sure did. Well, you know, it's also not very well known that Ian Fleming wrote a children's book too, a very well-known one. We know it from the movie, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. So go figure, maybe they'll go after that next. But it's absolutely silly. I mean, censorship, just the word censorship.
Do we have the pick?
Should open up the whole bowl.
Let's pop it up. Do we have?
We're creating the suspense. That's not the one.
That's not me.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a long time
That's
ago.
you?
Yeah.
On the left?
And you can tell how
dressed to kill.
Thrilled with reading a proclamation that no kilt that night.
No.
But Sean Connery looked
different night.
Yeah.
That was cool. Was he nice?
He was terrific, yeah. But he was acting the same way everybody else did when you read a mayoral proclamation.
Yeah, right. You know, I've got to get your thoughts on this one, Whitley. Quickly want to go back to something that we spoke about earlier with, sorry about that. Look at me, Melanie. I'm so bad. Melanie, here, my question is, we were speaking earlier with Christina Thompson, our correspondent, about Dilbert's creator, and some people were saying that he should be canceled, and I believe very much in the First Amendment, but based on what he said, saying that white people should stay as far away as they can from black people, to me that is incredibly offensive. Is this a case for cancel culture, or even because, or just because of the First Amendment right? Nope, we should still allow people to read his art.
You should still allow people to read his art. It is art, after all. And if that's the way he feels as a brown person, I'd like to know that. So, you know, it's typically, you know, white liberals that say this kind of thing on behalf of people who look like me. It's very annoying. Let us run our own stuff. We got this. Thank you very much. Stop helping. As Jason Riley would say, we don't need their help on this one. This is perfectly fine. We need to know if there are outright racists out there. That's one of the things that make the First Amendment a wonderful thing. And by the way, when you played that James Bond clip of the Man Talk clip, I literally howled. I was like, I hope my mic is not open, because I cracked up so hard. It's so ridiculous. It's entertainment. It's art. People need to relax, and not one person's black life will improve by going back and rewriting history.
That's what's crazy. It's like nobody forces you to read it, Ford. I mean, it's like, you don't like it, don't read it. If you read it, throw it in the fireplace if you're offended by it. And plus, this is another thing, Ford. If we get rid of anything that's offensive in the world, we're going to have the weakest people in the world, because you got to be able to put up with stuff just to survive. Once we start seeing Chinese signs all over the place, you know, it's not going to matter that somebody said something slightly offensive in a James Bond movie.
And that's exactly right. And I think Bryan made a great point. I think that Ian Fleming would be rolling over in his grave right now if he were alive to witness this. And Melanie's absolutely right. Censorship benefits no one. And not only that, remember, what you want to censor today, you may not want to censor tomorrow. That's why I call the whole thing a woke, predominantly white liberal grift. And it doesn't help society, because when you cancel history, you guarantee that it's going to be repeated again. And exactly right, if the Chinese Communist Party takes over America, they're going to believe all this stuff as well. Horse dung.
Yeah, listen to this. Breaking Bad actor Bryan Cranston said that Donald Trump's slogan, "Make America Great Again," is, take a listen.
When I see the "Make America Great Again," my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? And most people, a lot of people go, how could that be racist? Make America great again? I said, so just ask yourself from an African-American experience, when was it ever great?
Yeah, Melanie, what do you think about that?
You know what? I was incensed when I saw this clip. It's another example. I cannot tell you the number of middle-aged white men who have told me about my own Black experience and told me that I was wrong on behalf of Black people and Black experiences. It's maddening. It infantilizes Black people as if we can't speak for ourselves. He needs to go somewhere and sit down and have his own experience and probably see a therapist about his overwhelming white guilt and his sense of sadness because he's so successful.
Bryan?
Unbelievable.
So the character he played in his television show, where he shot a lot of Mexicans. So I mean, who's the racist here?
What, Breaking Bad?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Love
it's
that.
It was a great show.
Great
but
show.
you know, but he's looking for somebody to tell him.
That's an interesting point. Like, how could you let your character do something so terrible? That's not it. Plus, you can do that about anything in our world, right? Well, it wasn't good for them, or it wasn't good for them.
And then he pulls out an Andrew Cuomo quote: "America was never that great." Stop
well,
right there.
what about women around him? They weren't that happy. I mean, really, let's get on with it.
You know, we started off with a quote from Huckleberry Finn, right? Not Huckleberry. Huckleberry. Oh boy, I'm going off. Mark Twain.
Huck Finn.
Mark
Twain. Huck Finn.
When are we going to censor his books? Because
they have.
The N-word has been peppered through all of his novels.
Well, they have censored his books. They don't allow them. And by the way, one of the great novels of all time, it did use the N-word, but the crucial moment of that novel was him saying, I'm going to stay with my friend Jim, who happened to be the runaway slave.
Precisely.
So, I mean, are you not going to learn from that? No, we're going to take offense at something that was written in that era.
Exactly.
And accepted in that era, but...
it gives you something to discuss. It's worthy of discussion. Let's discuss it. We can disagree, but we'll discuss.
All right, Bryan Anderson, Melanie, Collette, Ford O'Connell, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.